How to turn a Harbor Freight 150 PSI 12-volt air compressor into something useful. What you do is this hose here is you unscrew it. I've already unscrewed it all the way. And you go to your local Ace Hardware and buy, it is a 1/8 to 1/4 inch adapter. Not sure if I can get this to, whatever. It's 1/8 to 1/4. It is NPT. You put that on there, and now this is the same fitting you will use on any normal air compressor fittings. What I recommend is either to run a quick disconnect right there, or by Harbor Freight they have essentially it's an air compressor to tank fitting. One end swivels and the other end's solid, so that way, I don't know, it's usually only like 5 feet or less, which makes it nice. And then on the end I would put a quick disconnect. Now you have a little compressor that goes back in the bag that it comes with, is actually pretty decent. And then you can still hook it up to your battery and use it. What I'm gonna do is cut these off and hard mount this into my canopy and run a switch on it. Now, if you want to get extra fancy, you do like what I already did on, don't mind the mess, it is a disaster. This is the Harbor Freight 5-gallon air compressor tank. You remove the stupid fitting that it comes with, which is like massive, and then only has like an 1/8 inch hole through it, so it fills super slow and it, you know, creates a restriction. Remove that, get your nice tower of adapters, or if you actually buy one adapter that goes from that to this 1/4 inch, then you do it that way. This is an air manifold from Amazon. These are all fittings from Ace Hardware. Quick disconnects are from Harbor Freight. And then, so how I have the air compressor set up in the truck with the last one is that little hose comes out and it goes into here. That's a one-way check valve, and that way if there's any leaks from the compressor side, it won't back feed from the tank. You won't lose your air in the tank. So one way's in, it goes in. Ball valve for whatever reason you want. I probably had a better reason when I built this last year. And then a quick fitting for whatever hose you're gonna run out to your tools. I don't recommend this setup for like actually running impacts, but what I use it for is filling up tires, and I have a blow off nozzle for my camping setup so I can dust everything off, or my face. So what you can do is, this is a pressure switch, 90 psi on and 120 off. And what that does and how you wire it in to your compressor is, I have a switch in the canopy that I turn on, and the right way to do this maybe is through relays and whatnot, but long story short, this turns on or off the compressor. The tank is only rated for 125, the compressor can do 150, so this turns the compressor off at 120. This is a pressure relief valve, which I highly recommend doing, because like me, how I wired this up, I did it wrong, and I had this on the ground side switched, and the compressor found another way to ground itself. And so this goes off at 125, protecting the tank and everything from exploding. This is a it's a drain valve that you pull with a string, and this I have, because the tank was in a spot that was hard to get to, so I have that so I could drain it from farther away. And obviously a pressure gauge. This needs to be all tightened up. It should not do that, but that's why I'm rebuilding this whole setup. So I recommend something like this for somebody who wants a budget air compressor setup. I fill up tires pretty quick with this. It's great to have air on board on my camping setup, and I can show you how it was set up before. So there's the old compressor, and there's that hose I was talking about. This is like you get this hose at Harbor Freight. and there's already that adapter in there. And then there's my wiring that went to the switch. And long story short, you hit that switch, and if the tank was below 90 psi, the compressor would turn on, and if it was, once it hits 120, it turns it off. If I hit that switch on and it was already over 120, the compressor's not going to turn on. What I'm going to do this next time around, because I'm redoing this whole setup, is I'm gonna have this run through a relay, and then the relay is controlled by that pressure switch. So the control circuit of the control circuit of the relay will be connected to that pressure switch. Then there will still be a switch like this, or my pod setup that I'm putting in here, that will I call it arming the system. You turn it on, and again, if the system is below 90, it'll turn on itself, and then once it turns, you know, blah blah blah. And then if I just don't want this compressor turning on and off randomly because it does leak, I just turn it off, and then it doesn't do anything. That's as much information as I know on how to convert these compressors, and you can run them upside down. This one was like in the back of my other truck in the rain for a long time. Forgot about it, and a toolbox that leaked, and it just was rusty. Pulled it out, took the hose off, rewired it, and it turned on. Works. So it's pretty good for 60 bucks.